Hello guys and welcome back to the channel. So in this video I want to talk to you about two Palantir risks and bad things that can happen to the stock and my opinion on them. And this is going to be I think a very valuable video if you say that you are a long-term investor in Palantir. So let's see, how long-term are you really, and are you aware of these risks? So the first one, so the reason why I'm making this video is because the last 1 to 2 years, it's been a very easy thing to be a Palantir shareholder, right? This is my buys of the Palantir stock here. You clearly see that I couldn't time the market, and I don't know anyone who could time the market. And then since this point, I've just been sitting in the stock and sitting in the stock up to this point. And to be fully transparent, I had two portfolios, and one of the portfolios I did have to liquidate. It had nothing to do with the stock. I had an emergency where I needed to use the money, so it wasn't wherever the stock would have been, I would have sold. But the other portfolio that I have together with my dad, at this point, it was almost 85% of the portfolio that was in Palantir. Now we added more money to the portfolio, so it's and Palantir has grown more, so it's still a very, very substantial part of the portfolio, but no shares sold. I wanted to start this video with a really good quote that I saw in a YouTube video, and for the life of me I couldn't find it. It's a restaurant billionaire, and it's very nice B-roll, so you have to imagine this. You have to use the OpenAI Sora in your head, where this guy with very deep voice says that when the times are good, people forget that the times will ever turn bad, and when times are bad, people forget that they will ever turn good again. And I think that with Palantir, everybody right now, it's been so easy to be a Palantir shareholder, and everybody says, yes, I'm long-term. But I don't believe people truly know what that means. So I want to show you one big FOMO that I think is going to come Palantir's way, and what I think about it. And one of them is NVIDIA. So a lot of people speculate that NVIDIA is going to stop expanding the way it has been expanding, and it's going to be a bubble that bursts. So I also must say that those people who have been saying this, they have been wrong time and time again. So ever since we came up to this point, people said, oh my God, NVIDIA is really, really expensive. And every time NVIDIA surprised with their numbers. However, I saw a video by Meet Kevin that really convinced me that, okay, it wasn't just Meet Kevin, but I just want to tell you what he said. So he asked, how much does your productivity improve when you go from an iPhone 13 to an iPhone 15? It's probably incremental, It's for most people the same, but it's a few percent, right? But when you went to having no phone to having an iPhone, your productivity went up almost an infinite amount, okay? And the world at this point didn't have an AI. And then, ChatGPT came along, the AI frenzy came along, and NVIDIA started selling the H100 chips. So that means that all the clouds and everybody basically had an infinite boost in their, AI productivity and their general productivity and inference and so forth. And now we know that the H200 chips are coming, but the companies who just bought a crap ton of H100 chips, are they going to be incentivized to, shred all those chips, all the hundreds of millions of dollars of investment, and change them over to H102? Probably not. So it's only the companies who don't have the H100s yet that are going to instead opt for the H200, and this demand is going to fill up at one point. And then it's going to be the natural changing of, like these chips are getting too old, so we, opt to the new one, much like the iPhone upgrade cycle, right? It's going to get saturated. And I don't know when that is. I would tend to think that it's sooner than later, when this crazy expansion of, 100% year over year with NVIDIA is going to stop. And a lot of people say that when that bubble pops, it's going to drag down Palantir. So what do I think about that? I saw a quote by Kathy Wood, and she needs no introduction. They do a lot of research, right? And she said that in their research, for every dollar of hardware, they found that software providers and SaaS providers will generate $8 in revenue. So that means that the hardware is initially, when this AI boom happened, like you need to have the hardware to be able to run the programs. But even if you're not upgrading your hardware, you're still going to run your programs. So even if NVIDIA slows down, it doesn't have any connection with Palantir slowing down, even though that's what people are going to say. So this is a FUD that I feel like is coming, but we don't have to worry about at all. So now the second main issue with Palantir is you. It's you selling the stock because of whatever reasons. So I bought Palantir to own it for the next 10, 20, 30 years. Probably I never want to sell the stock. And I want to show you other companies that I think Palantir is going to be similar to. So if you know Apple's chart, it's probably a chart that, goes like this. Nothing goes straight up, but it's a very nice even line up. And you can see the yearly growth rate. So let's look at more modern times. So let's take since the iPhone. So if you bought Apple since the iPhone, the first year you had a 133% year, but the next year you were down 56%. So would you have held Apple through that time? Keep in mind that there is a lot of stock splits, but probably you're up like 100 times or 50 times from this point. Yet you had a 50% drop. And those are the times when probably, people are calling for, we need to change the CEO. Apple is doing this wrong. The market is going to collapse. And these things are coming for Palantir. Because as I said, now we're in the good times. This is when it's easy to be a Palantir shareholder and you get a lot of respect. But these times are coming. Are you going to be able to hold it, And then there is multiple years when, the stock maybe goes 31% and then the next year 5%. And then 37%, and then minus 4%, and then minus 10%. And would you hold through all these times, or you would just get out of the stock because, they're not growing fast enough, and there will be FUD. That I'm guarantee you that in 2016 the FUD was, the market is saturated, nobody's buying more iPhones, Apple doesn't innovate anymore, yada yada yada. And it's the same with another big winner company like Tesla. Who again had very, very slow growth between 2016 to 2018. And then it skyrocketed up 743%. And again, would you have held through this tough time? The same with Salesforce, which I think Palantir is going to be very, very similar to. And this doesn't even tell you the whole story. I want to show you one very, very interesting thing, because it doesn't show you the intra-year volatility. And I prepared something and it looks like it freaking disappeared. Oh my God. So I need to upgrade to the paid version. But we still have the date range here. So I wanted to show you from 2012. So remember that we are 12 years from this point and we are 10x up. Okay, at this point, the iPhone was out 5 years. Probably it was obvious that Apple is a major winner. So it was, a stock that you really probably wanted to hold. And from this date in September 2012, the stock fell 40%. Again, if this was Palantir, would you have held through this? And then the stock rallied. And then it came back to the exact same price in 2016 that it was in 2012. So that's 4 years of going nowhere, right? And probably if you bought Apple here and you are here in 2016, you're getting ridiculed. There is a lot of FUD. There's all the reasons to sell the stock. And yet, if you just, kept your winners, and you would have DCA'd, added when the stock was cheap, and probably you should have added here because you know, if the company was executing and it was back at the same point when it was 4 years ago, it was probably a very good place to buy. You would be up in 8 years 10x or close to 10x, 8x. Okay, phenomenal returns, one of the best investments you will ever make. But if this was Palantir, would you have held through? So I just really wanted to show this to you guys because I believe, as I said, it's very easy to be a Palantir investor right now. And everybody says right now that they're long-term investors and LX Corp is great. But there is going to come these times for the stocks. And my question is, are you ready and are you going to hold on? I will see you in 2030 and 2040. And probably the stock is going to be, who knows, 100, 200, something like that. And I will be holding, and I hope you will be holding too. So thank you so much for watching. Please make sure that you're subscribed. If you want to support the channel, there is a Patreon link in the description box. You can also join and become a channel member. And then that way, when we are live streams, you know, you get these cool things on your comments. But the main important thing is that you're here, you're watching, and you're subscribed. And I'll see you in the next video. Ciao, ciao.